Account receivable opening balances. So in order to enter opening balances for an account receivable, you first must make sure that the customer is going to be in your contact list and set up with a receivable account. So let's go over to contacts and make sure. So I have 3 accounts that I want to enter an opening balance on. So let's go open them up. I want to go look for my first one. And what we'll do is we will make sure we do an edit, go to details, and we want to verify that they do have a receivable account set up. So once they have that set up, then the opening balance can be put in. If the customer is not in your system, then you do need to add them. So here I have a customer called Car Lot Express. Again, you put in names, phone numbers, addresses. Go to details, accounting, create receivable. Make sure you have a term and then a limit. Now, if you have a customer that you're going to bring over an opening balance on that you do not want them to charge anything, just leave the account limit at $0. You can still put in an opening balance on what they owe you, and then that way it'll set up the receivable, but they won't be able to charge anything in the future. So you just hit save. And again, if you have a customer and you are going to be using an enterprise with multiple locations and you want that customer to be able to charge at multiple locations, you would set them up at the enterprise and say that they are managed at the enterprise. So once we have that ready, we're going to go over to General Ledger and we're going to go to New Transaction. So typically when you're putting in opening balances, it's going to be the balance as of the previous month. So let's say I went live with the system on the 1st. So I'm going to get my totals as of the 30th of September here. I'm going to add line. Now I'm going to go to receivable accounts. That is an asset account. So underneath detail, I'm going to click. Now I go find the name of the account. So if I have truck company, there it is, trucking, hit OK, and I enter a little description. So this might be something like AR balance as of 30 September. And I'm going to just copy this. And then I enter the balance. So let's say they owed me $1,500. Type it in. I'm going to go add another one. So you can add these one at a time and set them up, or you can add multiples. So I'm going to go to receivable accounts again. Look up my next one. So let's go look up car lots. And then I just paste. There we go. And then I'm going to enter the balance here. You can add them one at a time. You can add multiple lines in here to put in several accounts at one time, however you wish to do this. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, if it is a managed at the enterprise, that means I can enter it at each individual location. It'll go on the balance sheet at that particular location. Or I can go into the enterprise and add it there, and it'll go to the balance sheet at the enterprise. So I can do it at either place. If it's location managed, then you got to go to the location. That's just all there is to it. Anytime you have a single location, which is what most people are, then you just going to do it right in your location. So once you have them in, the very last entry is always going to be opening balances. I go to my opening balance equity account. Here's my ARs totals. It'll automatically add it in. Once I'm done, I hit post. and now I'll have them in. So always verify. So I go over to Home, Accounting. Now I'm going to go pull up Receivable Accounts, and I want to go look up these two accounts. And there is my AR balance as of 30 September. Now, I always double check these entries because if you forget to do something such as select the proper date, anything like that, that can be changed. So all I have to do is go back to the general ledger, and I'll go into receivable accounts. I'm going to go back to that day, refresh, and see there's the entry that I made, and then I can double click, open it up, and if I didn't set the date right, I can change it, or if I had a wrong amount, I can change it. So you can fix these right away if you want. Now, some people like to be able to enter all of the invoices individually. So as they get paid, they can, reconcile those invoices individually. The way to do that is to go to New Transaction. Again, set your date, add a line, and Receivable Accounts. So I have a customer named Jim Neighbors, and I want to have 3 different entries for him for each individual invoice. So I'm going to search. So here I would put something like an invoice number, 123, whatever it is, and then how much that invoice was. So let's say it was $150. And then I'm going to add another line, again, receivables, and I'm going to go look that same customer up again. Add another line here, and then we're going to say, here's the next invoice, whatever it is. And then how much is that invoice? And then just keep adding and adding. So sometimes you're going to have customers that maybe have a credit. So how am I going to enter a credit in here? So this might be a credit invoice. All you're going to do with that is just put it in as a negative dollar amount. Maybe you had a $10 credit here. So once I have these individual lines set, add line, opening balances. So this is going to be his starting balance as of 30 September 2021. Click on post. So let's go look at that account. So I go back to accounting. We're going to look up Mr. Neighbors here. Now I have the 3 individuals. Now you notice this due date. See, he said on net 30. Okay. So what can I do here? So if I click it, can I do an edit? I can even go edit the due dates. So if I want to change this due date, I certainly can. And I can adjust these individually. And that is how to enter account receivable opening balances.